Man, do you remember this thing? Obviously you do. But do they remember this?
I was going to start off the video saying the exact same thing, Clayton.
Well, good.
And I am a little bit
Great
sick.
minds.
I'm a little bit sick, so I might sound a little bit weird.
Weirder.
Weirder, yes. Not the normal Muppet that I usually sound like. This Mark 7 Salvaged R, I paid about $2,500 American for it, for a complete running car. The door had folded back and the bags had popped. For those who have been following along on the channel for a while, you'll see a couple of videos we did on this. We did one, the initial goal for it, I'll just quickly say, we're gonna put some power to it, make a bit of horsepower, go race it, do some lapping maybe, some drag racing, stuff like that. We did a video gutting it. We lost like 400 pounds or something like that.
Yep.
So they completely gutted it. Started making some horsepower, and then I scattered the engine all over the place.
Are you just gonna keep the door open?
Is it safe-ish?
This airbag's a bit of a pain though.
Just tuck it up.
Up it. I do want to do one thing that we should do before this.
What?
We should check the oil. Make sure there's oil in it.
There's oil.
Too much oil? Let's see what this ashtray can make.
Is that clutch slip right?
I don't think that was the tires. A lot of smoke.
Might be the tires?
A lot of smoke. I started in a different gear that time. Still clutch.
Doesn't sound great right now.
Didn't. Right this second? Yeah, it's down.
Definitely missing.
Yeah. That's it. That's how people generally bring cars to us to dyno. Crappy coils, crappy plugs, crappy clutch.
All right, so a little lighter than I thought. 3,271 pounds. So that's our benchmark. We got to remove as much as we can from this thing. And this is why I keep calling this car an ashtray. As you can see, that is legitimately an ashtray. There's full cigarettes in here, lighters. Basically, if you're a smoker, this is like your dream. That's what comes in your Mark 7Rs, just so everyone knows.
We took it so carefully.
We took it out very carefully. We're zeroed out. So Clayton, let's see what she's got in her. What did we lose? 28.98.
Oh, wow.
It's very 28.96. There was 9 lighters found under the seat of that car. Gives you an idea of how much of an ashtray it is. These guys reached out to us and probably are the reason we decided to try to go ahead with this project and see what kind of parts we could hoard together. We opted for a front mount intercooler from these guys. Let's get it open, see what it looks like. All right, got it all unpacked. As you can see, it comes in black. I think they only offer them in black. Has their logo on the side. Not sure if you're gonna see that in that light. It comes with couplers as well, which is nice, and clamps. Okay, the next big ticket item is from CTS Turbo. And they hooked us up on this one, actually. I can't say enough, Clay, thank you for this. So this is based off of a Gen 2 GTX 3076. So it's good for 750 horsepower. That would be like crank horsepower. We're gonna shoot for hopefully 550 to 600, depending on how things fare out with everything. So we did low pressure fuel pump, the brushless low pressure fuel pump, and the module. So that's going to take care of the fueling side, the low pressure fuel pump, stock high pressure fuel pump. We did CTS multi-port injection kit with the 1300cc injectors.
be yet. Yeah. 554, 429. I love it. The torque is staying right down low. We're just making more power. However, pretty sure that was a lot of boost.
Well, the intake's still together, so.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So let me look at this Clayton, and then we'll assess if we're going to go any further from here. I wanted to make 550 to 600, as I said in the previous video. The engine is stock. The engine has 271,000 kilometers on it. I haven't even changed the oil since I picked it up from salvage. We've done what I wanted. The last few runs, it wasn't getting a lot of power versus the amount of boost that we were checking at it. So we want to take this to the track and run it. So I don't know if I want to stress it out on the dyno here today, but give me a minute and we'll decide. Got to look at the logs and see if we can get any more out of this thing. Okay, so we have fixed the cutting issue that we're having, put a new O2 sensor in it. However, we've ran into a new problem, and that is the engine let go. So I haven't looked around yet, but quickly looking, that right there is a piece of ring, and this is outside of the engine. That looks like a piece of piston. That is a piece of piston. So there's a giant hole somewhere in this thing. It was done, I guess. So you gotta clean this up. You'll probably see lots of parts and everything. We'll just keep it all in this video. Unfortunately, we had put all hands on deck to go racing this weekend, which it's Thursday now. We're leaving tomorrow to go racing. As always, this was last minute. And here we go, broken engine. So I'll stop there.
Yep. And then at that, like you just said, we were supposed to go racing like what, 2 days later, a day later?
The next day.
Yeah, brutal.
It was Friday.
Brutal.
And
you
I was just doing
it.
yeah, and I was just doing basically a little cleanup to make sure things were good.
Yeah, you did clean up all right.
We made 560 or 570. I don't remember. It's in the video. And then it windowed itself, and the whole kind of project got pushed aside because I was just going to find another engine. And anyways, long story short, Clayton,
It's back.
ta-da! We're back, and we drug it out of the yard out there. It's been sitting for...
Rear wheel was stuck on it. What
Yeah.
was it, like a year now?
Yeah, hold on. Go ahead. We're gonna try to race this thing. Well, go have fun with it. Just make work project. That's all it is. Make work project. It's almost a year, I think. I think when we were trying to do this and get it ready was towards September maybe timeframe last year. Maybe
Yeah.
August, but
And
almost a year.
I think I had something and I lost it. I'll come back to you guys.
That's okay. So for those that are new to this project, it's a 2016 Golf R. I picked it up from an auction. As you'll see in the video, it had a small incident, but nothing crazy. The reason I bought this car was to take all of the drivetrain, engine components, all-wheel drive, everything, and put it in my Mark I Rabbit. I know I've mentioned it a few times on the channel.
It does exist.
It
is
does
a thing.
exist. Everything from that is going, everything from this car is destined to go in that car. However, we want to have some fun with this thing first. It is basically getting into kind of drag racing time now that the real hot days are getting past us, which is kind of sad to say. I didn't even want to say that out loud.
Nice today though, man. It was like
Very nice today.
35 degrees Celsius this weekend. Now it's like 18, 19. Feels
Yeah,
awesome.
Feels good today. So we're going to try to get it, bring it to a couple of
smaller events, just to have some fun. Maybe let some customers drive it. Clayton, Robbie, everybody. It's just going to be a salute, Clayton. That's all it's going to be. It's going to be a salute.
Whoa, okay.
But
It smells
we need
like
to bring you up. It smells like it is the ashtray. That is the ashtray. But we're going to bring you guys up to speed of kind of where we are with it now. There's probably a lot to unpack in this video, so let's get you up to speed.
Okay, Hoopty 7R engine, RIP. It's been RIP for a long time, but there's one final look at it. Obviously, chewed itself all the way through. Blew apart the lower pan, or sorry, the upper pan also, and then obviously this is just plastic, so it obliterated all that also. But we've pillaged what we want off it. The rest is going in the trash.
Okay, now that we got the engine mostly together, it's all timed up. Did a little wrinkle coat on the cam bridge, or valve cover, whatever you want to call it. Now it's to the fun stuff. In the last video that we did with you guys, or did on this car, we had asked you guys what turbo setup we should try to do next on it, and there was quite a few people that had mentioned TPC, Turbo Parts Canada. Well, as you can see, we have a kit here, and we're going to get into the full details of this thing, but this is the TPC 900, so it's based on a G900 turbocharger. Instead of making a bunch of racket, I'll show you guys and talk about this once we get it on the engine. Okay, so we got the turbo on. As mentioned, this is a TPC 900, and to give you a little bit of backstory about Turbo Parts Canada, or TPC, they do tons of rebuilds for OEM turbos. Actually, I'll show you another turbo that we have here from them. OEM turbos, rebuilds, upgrades. They do anything from generators to like 18-liter diesel engines. There's all kinds of stuff. So in regards to the MQB platform, they have the TPC 25. They've run a best of 1090 on a Mark 7 front-wheel drive GTI. They also have the TPC 38, which they've made, I believe, 550 wheel horsepower with that and run 1050s in a GTI. I'm trying to go by memory here. They've also got the TPC 770, which I think all in, that turbo makes around 590 wheel horsepower, which I guess comparatively to some of the other cars we've done would be similar to probably Vortex XL, maybe a little bit bigger than that actually, but very close. And then they have the TPC 900, which this turbo is kind of more for 600 plus wheel horsepower. This thing, it's based on a G900 Garrett, so I think it's a 6260 millimeter turbo. I'll put that in the bottom because I don't remember that off the top of my head. But so we've got the big boy. We're going to try to push this thing as far as we can. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. We also did the newest Go Fast Bits diverter valve. We'll talk about the engine a little bit as well, but I wanted to just talk about the turbo setup, and then we're going to start putting on the transmission. And we're working with Ringer Racing on this one. We're doing some testing on a new billet housing. We'll show you guys that in a minute, but let's get this together. So we got Clutchmaster Slave with the stainless braided lines. We got the shim kit for that. We got the clutch disc. This is a stage 4 kit. It's good for 735 foot-pounds of torque, which is kind of insane. But what we're testing actually is the new billet housing that they're offering. So you can see Ringer Racing. They don't even have this listed on their website yet, We're testing out some fitment and making sure everything is copacetic with install. So we're going to start, actually, I'll push this out of the way. And we're going to be installing flywheel as well, obviously. So full new kit, and we'll get back to you on how everything fits as well. I assume it's going to fit properly, but part of the reason it's here is that we're going to do a little bit of testing on it too. So let's get to it. Okay, we've had everything together, stacked up. We've done all our measurements. Slave's been installed. It's been removed. We've actually put the entire clutch assembly in the bow housing to make sure, check for any clearances or anything like that. Clearance issues, I should say. And the crank's all ready, cleaned up. Flywheel's cleaned up. We're ready to install this thing now for the final time. We don't appear to have any clearance issues at all. So, time to install. Fancy, isn't it? Okay, before we start trying to make this thing fast, there's one thing that happened last time. When we were putting this together or trying to take it apart before, the bolt that goes through the dog bone mount broke off into the subframe, into the bushing, and it still went all the way down through the dog bone mount, so we didn't really care about it. We just couldn't, it wasn't easy to service or anything, and obviously it broke off, so not ideal. When the engine scattered, I didn't really care. We just cut the dog bone off, and I wasn't really planning on making this thing run again because everything was going to go in my Rabbit, which it's still going to happen, but now we need to fix this thing. So there are specialty tools to get this out in the car. I don't have those, so we're pulling the subframe to basically beat this upper and lower bushing out so we can put new ones in it so we can run a dog bone like normal. So a little bit of a few steps back in order for us to be able to get this thing, get the engine and everything back in this thing, but the subframe's almost ready to come out now. So this problem will be fixed soon enough. Are you feeling we need to beep, beep, beep? So as you guys would have seen the video, there was one thing I didn't really talk too much about. I had picked this engine up as a kind of pre-built engine from a customer of mine. As you've seen in the video, we've gone through, changed the valve springs. I verified a few things, redid the timing, put the multi-port injector set up on it with 1300cc injectors in it.
I wasn't here for any of this.
I know you weren't. I know you weren't. But I didn't talk about what's actually in the engine. This set of IE rods and a set of Malley pistons, a set of Supertech springs. It has stock valves in it. We're not trying to
build the fastest one ever.
We're not trying to do that. We're not shooting for a record. We're just trying to have some fun with this thing.
It's still a bit of a budget vehicle.
Right, and as I would have mentioned in the video, we've had some parts. We were testing out a new billet cover for Ringer Racing's clutch kit. That's a stage 4 kit, good for 725 torque on a single disc, nutty. We have TPC's TPC 900 turbo set up on it. So in regards to power, I don't know. We stopped at 5. We didn't stop. It stopped itself at around 560 on stock engine. I'd like to see maybe closer to 700 maybe with this.
Okay.
Where we end up, I don't really know.
And just so people know, this isn't going to be on 91 octane either.
No, this will be strictly ethanol.
Not 91 octane.
Yeah, we're just going to have some fun with it. Try out, you guys, when we mentioned about potentially redoing this cars, a lot of people asked us to try to work with Turbo Parts Canada for their turbo setup, so we got in touch with them. So that's what's on this thing. We are going to, again, not push it to the absolute extreme, but we do want to make some good power with it, and we do want to have some fun with it. Clayton, you're looking like you're going to
the idea, like you said, is you want to put this in the Rabbit. So obviously you want to try to push it, but you still want to be able to use this
yes.
time.
So actually with that, in the Rabbit, that's one thing I want to mention. I have driven the Rabbit plenty of times before taking it off the road.
15 years
at
ago.
the 500 wheel horsepower range. It is a 1,900 pound car. That's crazy power for that power level or for that weight. This turbo is going to be too much for that car. I'd like to probably make between 500 and 600 horsepower. Keep in mind, I want to keep it a street car. It's not going to be a race car or anything like that. Probably run it around 500 horsepower on the street and maybe have 600 on tap with it.
Which is still ridiculous.
It's ridiculous in that car. I'm just saying this turbo setup isn't going to be the turbo setup that I'll end up running on the Rabbit. That'll be the one thing I'll probably change. Not probably, I will change. But we want to try this out. We want to push it for power. We got a big heavy car. Well, it's 400 pounds lighter that we're going to lug around with it. The transmission, we're just going to put a big question mark about that. We're going to try to
take a look at it now because
yeah, it's probably going to look like the other one I have here with a hole in it. We're going to try to control power down low, and we know that the transmission at this power level is destined to fail. Again, we're not looking to break records. We just want to go have some fun. We'll push it until it either breaks or we feel uncomfortable pushing it anymore.
I got something. So we got the goods. We got the Ringer Racing clutch, right?
Yeah.
Got the turbo from Turbo Canada,
Turbo
right?
Parts Canada.
And then
you're doing a terrible
got
job.
Lots of stuff here, but we got this too. We didn't talk about this.
Yeah, so this one was from, when we originally did this, we got a intercooler from
I'll put it in here.
Leo. They told me I said it wrong. Remember? Leyo, I think.
Maybe.
Leo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm butchering it.
We'll type it in. I'll put the website or something.
We got an intercooler from them. We had a CTS Boss 750 kit on it before.
Mm-hmm.
And that is now on another client's car, which we just had in here dynoing it a week or so ago, which we didn't do a video on.
We had another clutch too.
It did 455 wheel horsepower, the other car on pump gas.
It's pretty sick.
Pretty serious.
Pretty serious.
So this never made it in the car because we wrecked it. And this one is from No Drama Motorsport. Obviously, our boy KDN, those are the shifters that we all run in our cars. He gave us this to try out. It's the perfect candidate because we want to go and basically beat on this thing. So we're going to put this in the car as well. What else, Clayton?
Well, that
what
pretty
else
much gets us up to speed to like...
Talk about where we are today.
Yeah, where we're at. So I was like, there's nothing in there. That's not making any power now.
It's not making any power yet, but this is talking about the companies that helped out and stuff to get to us, to get this project back up on its feet and rolling again. It's amazing. We appreciate everybody's help. There is still a lot of expense with trying to get this car running. So, for example,
Well, stupid stuff.
the windshield is broken.
Windshield smashed. The door doesn't close.
So I already replaced the door latch on the passenger side, which was, I don't even know how much, not crazy money, but it was $150 probably. And now the door latch on this side doesn't work.
And the best part is like, it's not like you're going to be keeping this car or
No, this
stuff's
is
gonna be
getting binned when I'm
binned
done
in the
with
bin?
it.
Yeah,
It's
good.
getting binned. So to bring it up to speed, you've probably seen the video. Subframe mount broke, the bolt broke off in the dog bone. That's all been fixed. Can you see the lighting on that now?
Yeah, it's great. I came in the perfect time because that job was already done.
Yeah, that was kind of a trash job, to be honest. But that's all done. So now, as of tomorrow, the engine's going in.
Let's go.
It's going in. And we can start buttoning things up, figuring out the parts that are required to get this thing back up and running fully. Fuel pump, probably need to upgrade that again.
Aren't you doing a Haldex?
Oh, we are going to do that too.
Yeah, see? I've got some stuff once in a while.
Yeah, so for tuning, I believe we're going to work with TuneZilla on the tune for this thing. Not 100% on that yet, but I'm pretty sure that's locked in, that we're going to do a custom tune with TuneZilla. And we have TuneZilla's Haldex spring kit for it, just to help with 60 foots, basically. Now, again, transmission, we got to try to keep it safe and happy. On a DSG car, it would make a real big difference.
And we're not doing axles or nothing, so.
No, it's running.
Or even a diff.
And with that said, all the stuff that could potentially break on this, transmission, differential, axles, dry shaft, everything, Clayton, I have a backup of all of it.
Perfect. It's still inexpensive if it breaks.
I get it, but I have a backup for every piece of it. Literally. We bought a whole swap,
It's good. We
remember?
got 2 to rack. That's awesome.
We got 2 whole setups to rack before it gets into the Rabbit. So, engine's gonna go in probably tomorrow. You'll get to see some of that footage in this video. So let's get to that actually, because it's video content and tomorrow's already happened. Clayton and I yammered on about a bunch of this yesterday. We have fixed the subframe bushing. We pulled the subframe out, beat out the bushings, put new ones in it. So that's all ready. So now back to getting the engine put in. I think I pretty much covered most of everything in regards to the engine itself. It is, that specific engine that I picked up is a GTI engine. However, I have swapped over a bunch of the Golf R stuff to it. So I probably didn't capture that in the engine build, but the cams I'd swapped over, put the injectors. There's a handful of things that we swapped over to basically make it like an R engine. There are some subtle differences between the GTI and the R Gen 3 long block. However, most of those have been swapped over to that engine. So today's the day the engine's going in. I don't think it's going to be running today, but we're going to start putting it in, see the additional items that we potentially may need to get this thing up and running. I mentioned also yesterday, I think the windshield definitely needs to be replaced in order for us to be able to get onto the track. I also need to pick up new tires for it. The tires are shot on this thing. These were not the rims and tires that were on it. It actually came with really good Winters, which got put over onto my daily. These rims and tires were on my daily. They're shot. They've been on this car. So I do need to pick up some tires for it. There will be a handful of other little things. Oh, one thing also that I forgot to mention about it was I started to talk about with Clayton, but I don't think I ever covered it. The fuel pump that's in it now is a EQT brushless pump. Those pumps with the multi-port kit, I think typically will get to around 600 horsepower. I may have to put another, not may, if we're going to push it over 600 horsepower, I'm clearly going to have to put another pump in it, but I may add an additional pump. I don't know. Again, this is kind of a budget, go and have some fun kind of project, so I don't want to go crazy with the thing. I have a bunch of additional pumps here, so I may chuck in another pump in it. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'll keep you guys up to date with what I do with that part of it, but it's time to get the engine in this thing so that it starts looking like a car again. Go through the things that were needed. Let's get to it. Okay, it's in. It's mostly wired. I need to put some new plugs in it. Obviously coils. We got to replace the clutch line still. Button up the shifter stuff. Get a battery in it. Oil, coolant, all that stuff. But it's close. So hopefully we'll have it running here shortly. We got one last thing to do before starting this engine, and we got to tighten the crank bolt, and we're replacing it with an ARP bolt. So we need to muscle through that before we can start this without having catastrophic failure. Give me the bolt. £250
I need this because we'll do one. Oh man, we're strong.
Yeah, hold on, let's make this nice and straight.
Got it.
Perfect.
It's a temporary exhaust here, Clayton.
No, it's permanent. It's fine.
Well, it's going to be close to permanent, but I mean, it is going to come out the hood. We just got to make the provisions to make sure that it's not completely trash when it comes out of the hood. So I just need to tighten that up, and then we can start it. I mean, you probably already showed this in the video, but there is still interior technically in it, just none of it's attached. So
we'll need to get rid of all that before we go racing, Clayton. Whole center console. Okay. The shifter linkage is
I thought it was crappy before too.
terrible. We're gonna replace the shifter. But I think we're ready to start it, Clayton. You ready?
I'm ready.
I gotta find the button.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to put my foot on the clutch. Great, I gotta get in this thing. Oh, no pedal. I don't think we bled that. It's okay. At least the pedal's down. You ready? Oh, I need a key. One moment.
All right, ready now?
How about now, as Cletus would say? No key. No key. Oh, there is a battery in it. How about now? Trying again. Need 15 hands to make this happen. All because of a stupid battery. He not in range. You're laughing, but I'm not laughing. Clayton, can you stop with the battery problems?
It's not me, man.
We're gonna get this finally to start, and this battery won't start.
First try.
Okay, we got something. Oh, lights up. And how about now? Ooh, didn't sound very good.
It's not like you want to turn over.
No, I'm realizing that. Try again. Enough juice. I mean, there's enough juice in that.
I suspect it's still a slow current.
Yeah, well. This battery's been sitting on the floor here for at least a year. I don't even think that battery's from this car. I think that's just a random battery I had. So, we got juice. We got lots of juice. Now.
Ooh. Let's stop for a second. Yeah, there's lots of smoke. The starter's on fire. Like really on fire. Like smoking really bad and might be burning. Yeah, it's on fire. All right.
Clayton, I don't know if you filmed all the smoke that was coming out of the
I did.
starter. Oh, you
Yeah.
did? Okay, so we
figured that out.
We figured out the problem. Hopefully, the starter's not smoked. Like, literally smoked. How about now? Hold on. What do I forget? Oh, no power on the battery. Dummies.
We're
Come on, put the power on.
We're amateurs. We need battery power, right? Like negative and positive and neutrons and protons.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so we got juice again.
About
Now.
now.
Boo.
And suspense.
How about
We're honestly
now?
not doing this on purpose.
How about now? Okay. Is there oil in it?
There's oil in it.
Yeah. It's gonna be loud, remember, there's exhaust coming out the hood.
Yeah. The booster. We need the booster.
Oh, the starter's still working,
Yeah, it's not smoking yet.
but we need the booster. And take 700. Well, as we mentioned earlier in the video, whether it makes it in the video or not, that battery's been sitting here for a very long time, so I'm surprised it even turned it over at all.
Booster on. Let's try this again.
How about now?
I think we drained the fuel.
So it doesn't feel.
Ain't got no gas in it. It needs some sort of juice. It sat outside for a year, man. What do you expect? Better than this?
Oh, quit it. Yeah, it's pouring fuel a little bit.
Okay, we had a big fuel leak, but we're gonna try, oh, I think it's leaking in another spot now, Clayton. All of these stupid things are leaking now. It's a little bit weird. How about now? No booster pack, 'cause it's not gonna probably start.
We're so confident now. Fix all kinds of cool issues. Nothing stupid.
Nothing stupid. No juice. Okay, hold on. Again, I don't think this is gonna run too good, simply based on the tune that's on it, and now I just put pump gas in it.
As of right now, we just want it to run, period.
Yeah, so how about now?
First try.
Great success!
Yeah.
A lot of how about nows in this one to try to figure out what was going on. Some stupid hiccups. We did have a small issue with the pressure plate on the starter. So we'll go back to Ringer Racing about that. And I want to thank them for the clutch setup. Obviously, all that problem's fixed now. The thing starts and runs. Also, Turbo Parts Canada for the turbo setup. And all the other companies that we'll mention, or we mentioned in this video. So we're getting to the point now that we really need to just button it up, bleed the clutch, do all that sort of stuff, and get it on the dyno. But this video's probably run long. Clayton's probably has half of this edited already, right, Clayton?
I have none of it edited.
Yeah, no, you didn't do anything?
Nothing.
You lied to me.
No, I didn't.
Liar.
I told you I
You
didn't.
said you were working on it this yesterday morning, first thing. That's what you said.
Well, I said I was going to. I didn't.
Okay,
I
okay.
didn't.
So that's going to end it for this one. If you have any questions or comments about this $2,500 Hoop DR that we're going to hopefully get to the track and make some good power with it, ask below. Thanks for all the support. See you in the next video. Clayton, you want to add anything? I was almost forgot about you.
I fixed all the issues.
He fixed all the issues, yeah. End.